ओके अभी खोलती हूँ।
हाँ, एक सेकेंड ठहरो। लेट मी। हाँ, बोलो। आई जस्ट ओपन द फाइल। ओके।
हाँ ओके सर।
हाँ, बाकी लोग नहीं आए क्या? लेट मी शेयर द स्क्रीन। बाकी लोग नहीं आए क्या?
आ रहे होंगे।
शेयर।
ओके सर मैं आई स्टार्ट।
हाँ, एक सेकेंड, एक सेकेंड। कैन यू सी am I being able to share और हाँ,
अभी
एक
तो
सेकेंड, हाँ, एक सेकेंड, एक सेकेंड।
सर वैसे मुझे लगता है कि अपनी कल की प्रेजेंटेशन दिखाने के लिए मुझे अपनी स्क्रीन शेयर करनी होगी थोड़ा सा मैं।
नहीं, नहीं, कैन यू सी द डॉक्यूमेंट?
यस सर।
हाँ, चलो करो।
लेकिन कल की प्रेजेंटेशन जो है अभी मैं सोचा कि अभी दूसरे लोग आए नहीं है
ओ,
तो अभी कल की दिखाई
अच्छा,
देगी।
तुम शेयर करोगे? अच्छा, करो,
हाँ।
ठहरो। स्टॉप शेयरिंग। हाँ, बोलो। हाँ, करो, एक सेकेंड। हाँ, करो, शेयर करो।
हाँ 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 हाँ। ओके सर दिख रहा है।
हाँ, दिख रहा है, हाँ।
Okay, so explain the concept of time. What are the techniques where you can stretch the time, condense it, or compress the time? Give two examples of films in each case. मैंने
हम्म,
एक्चुअली वो इंडियन फिल्म ऊपर लिख दिया था लेकिन मैंने एक इंडियन एक इंटरनेशनल
ठीक है,
ऐसे
चलो
रखा है।
चलो, हाँ।
Okay. Time in cinema is a multi-faced way in which the audience is manipulated and storytelling is made more effective. It's the tool that can be stretched, condensed, and compressed to convey various emotions like tension or maintaining the pace of the film or to push the narrative forward. So, सबसे पहला है stretching the time.
हम्म,
Stretching the time is the method of slowing down the narrative pace and delve deeper in the narrative and make the audience understand the narrative very well, and it can make the audience understand the character very well and evoke empathy for them or build सस्पेंस फॉर द फिल्म। ये स्लो पेस से हो सकता है लेकिन ये सीन्स का इम्पैक्ट कभी बढ़ाता भी है, ऐसा मैंने दो एग्जांपल से प्रूव करती हूँ।
हम्म,
फॉर एग्जांपल, in the movie Matrix of 1999, the famous lobby shootout scene, the use of the slow motion effects while the shooting makes the scene very impactful when the character shoot the bullet, as well as the acrobatic movement of Keanu Reeves makes a very stylized and iconic action scene. As well as the other scene of Keanu Reeves dodging the bullets is also very famous because of the slow motion effect.
हम्म, okay.
Okay. And second example, in the 2018 Tamil movie Chekka Chivantha Vanam, based on the rivalry of three brothers, the climax shows the three brothers kill each other in a moving car, and the use of slow motion builds a tension in the scene, complemented by the disbalance of the car, which is shown drifting in the desert in slow motion.
Okay.
Okay, now it's the condensing time.
हम्म,
Condensing of time involves compressing the story of longer duration into shorter duration to cover extensive periods efficiently. It is
गुड।
mostly used either in biopics or slice of life films. So, the first example is the movie Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump shows the life of the main character, Forrest, which shows his journey from a specially abled child to a young army man and then a mid aged businessman. The narrative of the years is shown in some hours by condensing time.
okay.
Huh. Second example is of the Malayalam movie Hridayam, which is also a slice of life films, and it shows the journey of Arun Neelkandan from his college life, first love, breakup, career, marriage, and his journey to becoming a father.
हाँ, हाँ, चलो, हाँ।
So it shows the condensing of time technique of his years of journey in the span of a well-built narrative.
हम्म,
The stages of life. Yeah. Now compressing the time. Compressing time involves manipulating the temporal sequence of event, creating a sense of urgency or disorientation. Like this technique is used in suspense thriller films or science fiction films. इसमें मैं सिर्फ एक एग्जांपल लिख पाई that there is a scene in the Malayalam movie named Memories in which there is a chase sequence of Prithviraj Sukumaran where the rush is shown by the time compression technique.
देखो यहाँ पे कल मैंने तुम्हें बताया था कॉम्प्रेशन ऑफ टाइम और कंडेंसिंग ऑफ टाइम सेम थिंग होता है, तुमने
अच्छा
अलग अलग किया है ना। क्वेश्चन में भी वही है ना, कंडेंसिंग स्लैश कॉम्प्रेसिंग, सेम थिंग।
अच्छा ओके सर।
ठीक है, और एक चीज मैं बताना चाहता हूँ, ऊपर जाओ जरा कि अपना तुमने बोला ना वो, जरा ऊपर जाओ और ऊपर और ऊपर और थोड़ा सा ऊपर जाओ, जहाँ पे तुमने लिखा इट्स यूज्ड इन बायोपिक्स एंड स्लाइस ऑफ लाइफ फिल्म्स ओनली। नो,
हाँ कंडेंसिंग।
मैं कल बता रहा था ना 99% ऑफ द फिल्म्स, मोर देन 99% ऑफ द फिल्म्स आर लाइक वी कंप्रेस टाइम। Okay,
या
it's not, need not only be biopics, could be any film, could be any
हम्म
film जिसका प्लॉट या कहानी का ड्यूरेशन, सपोज
हम्म
तुम अगर ये देखोगे अरे वो फिल्म टाइटैनिक देखोगे, 4 दिन का
हम्म
घटना है ना।
हम्म,
हाँ, वो जहाज के अंदर 4 दिन दे मीट एंड देन द
हाँ
एक्सीडेंट हैपेंस एंड ही
हाँ
डाइज। ओके, वो 4 दिन का घटना को कंप्रेस करके या कंडेंस करके 3 घंटे का फिल्म बनाया गया।
या हम्म
So, so any film need not be somebody's biography. Okay,
या
any film,
हाँ
99% of the time, it's you are basically compressing the time to fit into that 2 hour or 3 hour
हम्म
duration.
या एक्चुअली क्या है ना सर, मतलब इसमें मैंने एग्जांपल लिया उन फिल्मों का जो कि कई सालों की जर्नी दिखाते हैं उनकी, जैसे कि
ठीक है, ये
फॉरेस्ट गंप हो गई या
कई
हृदयम हो
सालों का
गया।
भी हो सकता है, कई कई दिनों का भी हो सकता है, कई घंटों का भी हो सकता है, ठीक है ना।
हम्म
तो the ultimate intention is the same. How do I fit it into a 2 hour format or two
हम्म
and a half hours format? So you have to select and string them together in a certain order. Okay, चलो
हाँ
हाँ, अभी क्या है, और अभी और उसके बाद बोलो।
continuity in films.
हम्म,
Continuity in films refers to a seamless flow of the visual and the narrative elements within the scene or across the different scenes. It is a fundamental aspect of filmmaking that ensures the consistency and coherence in the storytelling, preventing distractions or confusions for the audience.
हम्म,
Yeah. So, spatial continuity.
हम्म,
Spatial continuity is the maintenance of the relation of the objects, location, and characters, and consistency of the
ठीक है,
geography in the scene or
ओके,
the physical
हाँ,
location.
ओके, हाँ,
मतलब एक कैरेक्टर उसकी सराउंडिंग का रिलेशन
ठीक है,
बनाना।
ठीक है, तो समझाओ मत, जो समझ में
ओके।
आना चाहिए वो तुम्हारा, वट एवर यू रिटन वहां से समझ आना चाहिए, ठीक है, चलो।
हम्म
फॉर एग्जाम्पल,
सर मैंने टेम्पोरल कॉन्टिन्यूटी की बीच में डेफिनेशन लिख दी और मैं इसकी एग्जांपल गलती से इधर लिख दी है। ओके सर, तो एग्जांपल था दैट इन द बर्ड मैन द इल्यूजन ऑफ सिंगल कॉन्टिन्यूअस टेक क्रिएट्स अ सेंस ऑफ स्पेशल कॉन्टिन्यूटी थ्रू आउट द फिल्म as the camera seamlessly glides through various spaces connecting different location within the theater setting. मैंने बर्डमैन देखी नहीं है लेकिन फिर मैं देखूंगी, फिर बताती हूँ कैसा कैसे किया गया इस चीज को। या and Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk uses spatial continuity to convey the vastness and the chaos of the evacuation during the World War II. The film interviews three different timelines: land, sea, and water, while maintaining the spatial coherence with the storyline.
ओके,
Okay. Sir, temporal continuity. Temporal continuity involves the consistent sense of time within the narrative, which can create non-linear movement of the storyline. And the best example is the Christopher Nolan movie Memento, which shows the journey of a person suffering from short-term memory loss, and the screenplay of the film, the cinematography
देखो
of the
देखो यहाँ पे स्टॉप यू बोथ, मेमेंटो एंड 3 इडियट्स का तुमने जो एग्जांपल दिया कंटिन्यूटी के अंडर नहीं आता है, कंटिन्यूटी समथिंग एल्स, ये टाइम के अंडर आता है, ठीक है,
अच्छा हाँ
तो ये गलत
ठीक।
है, कल मैं ये बोला था तुम लोग को समझाया था। हाँ, रिदमिक कंटिन्यूटी क्या बोल रहे हो तुम, हाँ।
Rhythmic continuity का वो सिंपल सा ही होता है that involves the consistent pacing and the rhythm of the story which compasses through the editing duration, short compositions, etc. and maintaining the overall
नहीं
journey.
नहीं नहीं, ये भी गलत है। हाँ, कंटिन्यूटी का कॉन्सेप्ट मैं कल समझाया था, ठीक है, आज फिर मैं समझा दूंगा। हाँ, फिर
ठीक
से
है।
ये सब टाइम का चक्कर है, ये सब, ये कंटिन्यूटी के बारे में कुछ नहीं है। ओके चलो, एक्सिस 180 डिग्रीज।
ओके सर, इसके मैंने आंसर ढंग से लिखे हैं फिर भी, क्योंकि
पढ़ो।
समझे हैं ढंग से।
हम्म,
द कंसेप्ट ऑफ 180 डिग्री एक्सिस इज शोन एज द इमेजिनरी लाइन इन द फंडामेंटल प्रिंसिपल ऑफ द फिल्म मेकिंग एंड वीडियो प्रोडक्शन that governs the spatial relationship between the characters and objects within the scene. This rule establishes an imaginary axis or line that runs through the main subjects, ensuring a consistent screen direction and preventing the spatial disorientation for the audience.
हम्म,
Hmm. The
चलो।
concept of imaginary line. The 180-degree rule is based on the idea within a scene where an imaginary line is drawn along the axis of the action. The camera is positioned on the one side of the line and the main subject, the character or the objects, are positioned on the other side. Then the rule dictates throughout the scene the camera should remain on one side of the angle to maintain a visual continuity or consistent screen
ठीक है।
duration.
हम्म।
Okay. Now, when it is said about breaking the continuity, breaking
हम्म,
the 180-degree rule. Okay. So, इसमें मैंने एक ही फिल्म के दो जगह एग्जांपल दिए हैं. Okay.
हम्म,
The 180-degree rule is broken when there should be creating visual coherence and creating a distortion in the screen for
हम्म,
creative or narrative reasons. For the first example is intentional disorientation.
हम्म,
It is a technique of distortion of the scene for creating a tension and unease in the audience.
हम्म,
The filmmakers use this technique for thrilling scenes in psychological thriller.
हम्म,
In psychological thrillers. Okay.
हम्म,
Action sequence मैंने by mistake लिख दिया था.
हम्म,
For example, the movie Old Boy had a climax with a shocking plot twist in which the protagonist feels uneasiness upon knowing the truth about his daughter and him, by which the sense of distortion of his world is created. Okay. Now, first is expressive subjective experience. Filmmakers use the breaking 180-degree rule to convey as it can show the experience and perspective of the character. This can involve changing the spatial orientation to align with the character's shifting emotions or perception, providing the audience with a deeper understanding of the character's internal state. It is often used in the scenes where drugs are used, drug-induced scenes. Like when Sanjay Dutt's character played by Ranbir Kapoor in the movie Sanju is shown consuming drugs, so he's in a different world and in his mind, in a completely different world in his mind, and it is completely formed by his perspective, which is manipulated by consuming drugs. Okay. Dynamic action scenes में भी 180-degree rule break होता है. That the 180-degree rule is broken in the action scene so that the action scene's intensity can be captured as well as keeping the adrenaline rush caused in the audience mind.
ठीक है,
And
यही है ना तुम्हारा?
yeah.
हाँ
Yeah.
ठीक है, जरा क्लोज द।
मतलब
हाँ।
example, sir. The movie Old Boy has its first time action scene in which the protagonist fights for the first time. So it's a street fight scene in which that scene has a distorted camera movement and uneasy camera angles to creating a sense of adrenaline rush in it.
But how it jumps the line, that you have not explained. The question was,
Yes.
how do you jump the line? How you cross the line?
Hmm.
तुमने most of you, what you have done, you have used examples of films which जानबूझ के ऑडियंस को डिसोरिएंट करते हैं, तो उसी लिए जंप किया जाता है। लेकिन कैसे जंप किया जाता है, मोस्ट ऑफ यू हैव नॉट बीन एबल टू एक्सप्लेन। एनीवे, स्टॉप शेयरिंग इट। आई बिफोर आई प्रोसीड टू टुडेस टॉपिक, आई जस्ट एक्सप्लेन टू यू द डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ कंटिन्यूटी। चलो बंद करो ये,
वो उस पे डॉक्यूमेंट लिखा अभी मैं
वो बाद में देख रहा हूँ। हाँ, हो गया ना तुम्हारा?
हाँ
और
हो
क्या
गया.
बाकी है? हाँ चलो, हाँ स्टॉप शेयरिंग। देखो, आई जस्ट वेरी क्विकली चैट बॉक्स में आऊं, तो देखो डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ कंटिन्यूटी। हाँ, ये जरा लिख लो। एक है एक्शन कंटिन्यूटी, एक्शन कंटिन्यूटी। हाँ ठीक है। नंबर 2 इज फिजिकल कंटिन्यूटी। ओके ओके। देन then you have relational continuity। ओके, रिलेशनल तुम स्पेशल कंटिन्यूटी भी बोल सकते हो उसको। एक है नंबर 4 इज डायरेक्शनल कंटिन्यूटी। Okay, and all these different continuities are governed by the all all these different continuities are governed by the rule of 180 degrees. Clear? Can you see, all of you? What is action continuity? I'll simply explain. In theater, the action is continuous, isn't it? Follow? Please answer me. In theater, the action is continuous. Cinema, if
Yes, sir.
in a theater, if there are 500 people watching a play, there are 500 different points of views. सामने वाला बंदा जो देख रहा है, पीछे वाला बंदा कुछ और देख रहा है ना? ठीक है, सामने वाला बंदा सामने वाला रो में लेफ्ट में जो बंदा बैठा है वो कुछ और देख रहा है, सामने वाला रो में राइट में जो बंदा बैठा है वो कुछ और देख रहा है ना? सो देयर आर डिफरेंट पॉइंट्स ऑफ व्यूज, डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव्स, ठीक है? लेकिन फिल्म का खासियत क्या है? सामने रो में जो बंदा बैठा है, पीछे का रो में जो बंदा एक ही चीज देख रहा है, अलग अलग चीज है. There's a single point of view in cinema. Okay, so how is that possible? The camera can go close to the character. The camera can go close to some specific part of the action which is happening. Okay, so the camera's eye, ये ध्यान से समझो. The camera's eye is the eye of the lens of the camera, the viewfinder of the camera. ठीक है ना? Eye of the camera is the eye of the audience. Whatever is the camera seeing, okay, the audience is also seeing. Okay, so the audience need not physically go near the action. The audience need not go to the front seat. Okay, audience पीछे बैठ के ही देख सकता है. So what you are doing, in cinema, you're breaking the action into bits and pieces. You're breaking the action into shots. ठीक है? We call it short division. ये सब जान लो, क्योंकि क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. What is short division? Okay, so it is never a single continuous piece of action. बीच बीच में कट्स आते हैं. कट्स क्यों आते हैं? So what you're doing, the action जो है, you're breaking the action, a continuous piece of action into छोटे छोटे shots. Okay, तो जब तुम when you break, so short division, तुम जब when you're breaking the action into छोटे छोटे shots, the relationship between the shots have to be maintained through continuity. हाँ, suppose मैं अभी हाथ ऐसा हिला रहा हूँ ना, तुमसे बात कर रहा हूँ, हाथ ऐसा हिला रहा हूँ, मैं अभी क्लोजअप में हूँ. अगर if you suddenly cut to a long shot, I continue to explain to you whatever I'm explaining to you, मेरा हाथ हिलता रहेगा, है ना, मेरा हेड भी हिलता रहेगा, लेकिन ये कंटिन्यूअस होना चाहिए, you know, कंटिन्यूटी में होना चाहिए. ठीक है, एक कंटिन्यूटी फिजिकल, एक कंटिन्यूटी मैंने भूल गया, एक है पोजिशनल कंटिन्यूटी. पोजिशनल कंटिन्यूटी, okay, ये भी, this is another. So the action has to continue from shot to shot. That is called action continuity. Okay, समझ में आया? Now there's some. हाँ जितिन बोलो.
Sir, is positional continuity
come. Yeah. These are all related. It's not. These are not airtight compartments. ठीक है ना? Okay. Now what is physical continuity? If I'm in one shot, I'm moving my hand, left hand. Okay. In the next shot also, I should be moving my left hand, isn't it? I cannot suddenly start moving my, unless you show that instead of moving my, I take up my right hand. Okay. एक shot में अगर मैं चश्मा पहना हूँ, दूसरा shot में I cannot be without my glasses, isn't it? So this is a problem with the physical continuity. So in the next shot also I should be wearing the glasses. This is called physical continuity. Okay, my hairstyle जो एक shot में है, दूसरा shot में भी वही hairstyle होना चाहिए. Until it's a new scene, it's a different scene, the hairstyle can change. Okay. अच्छा, अभी क्या पोजिशनल कंटिन्यूटी क्या है? जिसका जो पोजीशन है, जो कैरेक्टर जो पोजीशन में बैठा है, वही पोजीशन में उनको रहना चाहिए इन डिफरेंट शॉट्स. ऑफ कोर्स द कैरेक्टर्स कैन मूव. if the characters are moving, then you have to show the character move करके he changes his position. Okay, that is very important for you to show. नहीं तो एक शॉट में कैरेक्टर सामने बैठा है, कट टू द नेक्स्ट शॉट कैरेक्टर, वो सेम कैरेक्टर वो पीछे बैठा है, तो when did he change the position? So this again is a discontinuity. So this is called positional continuity. Okay. What is relational continuity? Relational continuity is nothing but, we in cinema, we create a sense of false geography. Okay. Suppose we show a man, he's looking up at the sky. Cut to, what is he looking at? He's looking at birds flying. ठीक है, maybe the birds flying तुमने जलंधर में शूट किया और the man को तुमने शूट किया दिल्ली में, लेकिन तुम एडिटिंग में जब ज्वाइन कर रहे हो, the people will feel कि it's the same space. He's looking up at the sky and उसी sky में, the birds are flying. So basically these are shot in different locations, okay, different periods. But when you join them together, it looks as if they are happening in the same space. So this is called relational continuity. You're relating different. You're breaking the space into different zones, or you're shooting in different areas, but joining them together. A car comes and stands in front of a bungalow. The character steps out. A character steps out of the car and enters the bungalow. So exterior जो shot था, the car comes and stops in front of the bungalow. Well, maybe the real location. And when the character enters the bungalow, maybe that is a set, which is in a different city. Okay, but the audience has no way of knowing ना कि ये set है, ये real location नहीं है, ये set है. ठीक है ना? Because you have joined these two different locations, but and the audience thinks it's the same kind of continuous space is moving. Okay, this is called relational continuity. And what is the directional continuity? If you show a character moving from left to right, then you're cutting close to him. Action continuity chal raha hai. Then you're cutting wide. Then you're cutting to a top angle. Then you're cutting to a low angle. Suppose you're breaking into different shots. Okay, the direction of his walk should be the same. Left to right, left to right, left to right. So there's an imaginary line on which he is walking. Okay, you've decided to place the camera on one side of the line. Suddenly the camera cannot change position. Cross the line. If the camera crosses the line, audience will get disoriented. A banda left to right, left to right, left to right ja raha tha different shots mein. Suddenly he's walking right to left, right to left, right to left. So audience confused ho jayega. तो इसको बोलते हैं directional continuity. ठीक है? And of course, all these continuities, different continuities, are governed by the 180-degree zoom, which you know. Okay. Now there are other kinds of continuity also. Speed का continuity the actors have to maintain. Actor जो speed में एक shot में पैदल जा रहा था, दूसरे shot में भी he has to follow the same speed. There's something called the emotional continuity, again involving the actors. जो emotion एक shot में है, वही emotional expression should be there in the other shot. It's more like a physical continuity. ठीक है? Lighting continuity, that is the headache of the camera department. Shot to shot lighting should look continuous. The lights change होता है, lights का position, focus, सब कुछ change होता है, shot to shot. ठीक है? लेकिन audience जब देखता है, that particular scene which is broken into different shots, audience को लगेगा ये lighting continuity maintain किया जा रहा है. So there's something called the lighting continuity also. ठीक है? So these are the main. Action continuity is the main thing. Physical continuity, positional continuity, relational continuity, directional continuity. Okay, then you have emotional continuity, then you have lighting continuity. Okay, and the first 4 or 5 continuities are governed by the 180-degree zoom, and there are different ways of jumping the line. Okay, I'll not get into that. Okay, abhi tak yahi samajh lo. If you want to jump the line, you just cannot jump the line. It will disorient the audience. If you really want to disorient the audience, you can do that, disturb the audience. Now, if you don't want to disturb the audience, there are several ways of doing it. The most common thing is when a person is looking at each other, suddenly the person looks at something else. Cut to that something else. Okay, after you have cut to that something else, whatever is looking at, a new character or maybe a new object. Okay, then when you cut back to the 2 characters, the camera can change its position. तो ये जो shifting of the camera across the line बहुत smooth लगेगा, लोगों को महसूस नहीं होगा कि there has been a jump. This is one major way of doing it. So अभी ये until unless you draw that, it's a difficult question. I mean, it's difficult to explain it in writing. One has to draw the graphic on board or on a piece of paper and explain it. Okay, I don't know how they have given this question. Okay. I hope I made myself clear. Basic I made myself clear. तुम लोग rhythmic continuity, ये continuity, तुम लोग continuity के बारे में discuss करने के time, you've spoken about time and all. That comes on the heading of time, the category of time, not to be confused with continuity.
समझ गए sir.
Okay.
Sir, can you please explain physical continuity once more?
Physical continuity is nothing. No? Physical continuity is basically, suppose you're holding the mobile phone. Okay, can you see the mobile phone on your left hand? You're talking. The character is talking. Cut to, he continues to talk. So the mobile phone should not change hand, isn't it? He should be holding the until unless then you have to show you. I mean, a character can from the left hand to the right hand. He can. Then you have to show that he's changing the mobile phone from his left hand to the right. Okay.
Sir, that also comes under action continuity, right? Sir, kind of action.
Action continuity mostly involves some kind of a movement. Some kind of a movement. ठीक है. Of course, देखो action continuity, physical continuity and positional continuity, they are more or less they are like kind of overlap each other. Follow? मतलब of course, मतलब the positions have to be the same, isn't it? And the direction of my head should be the same. Suppose I'm leaning forward and talking to you. In the next shot, I cannot be sitting like this. So this is my position is the same, but my physical placement is different. So there's a problem in physical continuity, because in the next shot also I should be like this. This is a close up, and then you cut to a mid close up or a medium shot or a long shot. So I should be sitting like this, reclining in front, isn't it? I cannot be sitting like this. So वो physical continuity का problem होगी. समझ गया ना? Okay. These are very common things. There are books on basic books on continuity, which you can find PDF or you can download from torrent and all. Okay, I'll give you the names of certain books. Read them. They are very useful and very easy to understand. Okay. Okay. Chalo, today's assignment. We will start with. Let me see.
So, what are the names of the books?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you the names of the books. ठीक है? अच्छा, क्या है ये आज का है ना?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, चलो राइटर पढ़ो, जल्दी जल्दी पढ़ो जरा.
रोज की तरह सबसे पहली प्रेजेंटेशन मेरी ही है. ओके.
पढ़ो. हाँ.
या हाँ. ओके. Write a short note on continuity reports in filmmaking, why it is required and what are the things included in it. ये मैंने फिर भी थोड़ा सही लिखा है. Okay. Continuity reports play a very crucial role in filmmaking, ensuring the flow of the narrative and visual elements remain consistent throughout the film. By this, the pace of the film is maintained. Okay, consistency in visual elements.
Yeah, but this has got nothing to do with pace. This has got nothing to do with pace. Write a short note on continuity reports in filmmaking. I'll please all of you listen. Continuity report जो होता है, this is the job of one of the assistant directors. A director in a feature film must have at least 4 to 5 assistants. Different assistant director का role different होता है. So generally there's one particular assistant director जिसका responsibility होता है continuity report लिखना. हम लोग continuity sheet भी बोलते हैं. It's continuity sheet. Okay, this has got nothing to do with the pacing of the film. Okay, this is a record of each and every single shot, each and every single take which is being taken during the shoot. ठीक है? और क्या क्या उसमें वो continuity report में क्या क्या होनी चाहिए जरा देख पढ़ो जरा. हाँ, तुमने क्या लिखा?
Okay. Consistency of visual elements. Continuity reports help track the costumes, props, set designs to ensure that the design remained unchanged from one scene to the next scene. This continuity is to prevent the distraction from the scene and making the audience believe the seamless reality of the scene. Temporal and spatial continuity. The film productions are shot in different locations in the chronological order but different times. The continuity reports help the filmmaker to maintain a spatial and temporal aspects of the story, ensuring that the time moves forward smoothly and logically. Character movement of actors. The continuity of the scenes and the movement of the actors of the film, as well as the dialogue's placement of gestures and interaction, creating a coherent narrative. Dialogues and script continuity. The scripts are often revised during the filmmaking process and may be shot many times, so the continuity reports help to ensure that the dialogues remain consistent with the script and that any changes are noted.
Excellent, hello. Okay, then.
Okay, technical continuity. Technical continuity report to address the technical aspects like camera, lighting, condition of prop, costume, continuity of sound. For example, like if a character is holding a thing in one scene, so the thing should be in the other scene also. Okay, elements of continuity report. Scene number and description. Each scene has a number of the scene and has a unique description. It helps in organizing the scenes in editing. Character and actor details. This is the details of the actor portraying the character of the screen. This ensures the right performances of the actors. Costume and makeup details. The detailed notes on the costume and makeup and hairstyle are maintaining the character's consistency. Props and set details. Props and set details are the details that play a crucial role in the consistency, and the placement of the props and set details that maintain the consistency. Okay, now write the 5 important points about cinema movements in
ठहरो
words.
ठहरो, यहाँ पे देखो, ये कंटिन्यूटी के बारे में तुमने जो लिखा ये सही नहीं है, ठीक है।
अच्छा,
कंटिन्यूटी शीट मैंने जो अभी बोला, राइट अ शॉर्ट नोट ऑफ कंटिन्यूटी रिपोर्ट्स, ये तुमने जो लिखा वो एक हम लोग बोलते हैं सीन ब्रेक डाउन। शूटिंग से पहले वी ब्रेक डाउन एवरी सीन इनटू you know, what are the properties required, how many actors are there in this particular scene, what are the costumes that they should be wearing. You know, this is called a scene breakdown. You make a list of properties, you make a list of costumes, you make a list of special properties, you make a list of the actors who are required for this particular scene. Okay, so this that is not a continuity report. Okay. So the assistant director, it's the job of the first AD and the second AD. AD matlab assistant director. Okay, as I told you, continuity report is something that it's a record of every single shot and take taken. It has certain columns. Okay, first column में रहता है, पहले तो ऊपर में रहता है production. I'll show you a continuity sheet. What is the name of the production? Okay, who's the director? The day of the shoot. Okay, scene क्या है वगैरह वगैरह. Scene number क्या है? Scene number 23 suppose. ठीक है. First column में रहता है shot number, whatever is the shot that you are taking, because we do not shoot chronologically, we shoot zone wise. Suppose the first shot that you are taking is not shot number 1, maybe shot number 5. So you write the first column में you have shot number right 5. Then the next column में a brief description of what is happening in that particular shot. ठीक है. Third column में होता है कि ड्यूरेशन ऑफ द शॉट, इसका अप्रोक्सीमेट ड्यूरेशन क्या है. ठीक है. फोर्थ कॉलम में होता है तुम्हारा ये एनजी है या ओके है. एनजी मतलब नो गुड या ओके है. ठीक है. अच्छा, शॉट के बाद हाँ जो रहता है, मैंने भूल गया, डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ द शॉट के बाद एक कॉलम रहता है वहां पे.
Is there only 2 divisions, not good and okay?
Yeah. Okay, so I'll just before I proceed further, I'll just give me just 2 seconds. I'll show you the continuity sheet. Okay, और continuity report कैसा देखने में होता है. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll share the document. Okay, I'll share the this thing so it will be clear to you. ये भी जान लो, because this is what was required. देखो, can you see the first column? First वाला continuity sheet लिखा है, ठीक है ना. This is also called the continuity report. First column में आएगा scene number 13 suppose. ठीक है ना. कौन सा scene? Shot number 3. Take 1, take 2, take 3, because we go in for repeated takes. ठीक है. Take 4, take 5. Now most often the last take is okay. Sometimes you might feel that the last take is not okay. Take number 3 was actually the best. So whatever you feel the take is good. Okay, what you do, you circle that. You circle 3 or you circle 5. तो circle जब करोगे तो एडिटर को पता होगा ये कौन सा टेक सही है. Description is basically a very brief description of the shot that you are taking. Okay, and remarks if any. अगर कोई remark है, remark में you can write, though take 5 is okay, the sound of take 3 is better. During edit, please use the sound of take 3. Okay, if there are any remarks to be made. Now, the next shot that you're suppose you're shooting in scene number 13 is shot number 5. यहाँ पे 2 ही टेक तुमने लिया, 1 and 2, maybe 2 is better. So circle 2. A brief description of the shot again, if remarks, if any. Okay, जब हो गया, then you suppose the next scene that you're shooting is scene number 26. The same thing is kind of maintained. Okay, and there's something called the clapboard. Clapboard में these are the 3 major columns. Scene number कितना है, shot number कितना है, take number कितना है. Okay, and the information on the clapboard should match the information on the continuity sheet, because these are 2 different people, 2 different assistant directors are handling this. One is showing the clap before you say action. The clapboard is placed in front of the camera with the details. Scene number 13, shot 3, take 1, thak, clap करके वो भाग जाता है. And the director says action, and the actors start acting. Okay, or continuity sheet या continuity report जिसके हाथ में है, a bunch of papers. He's another fellow. Okay, he's writing scene number 13, shot 3 है ये, and take 1. Brief description एक ही बार तुम्हें लिखना पड़ेगा, no matter how many takes you're going in for, because the shot is the same, na? The takes could be different. Okay. On the shooting protocol, kya hai? Silence, going for take, mobile phones off, please. So everybody becomes silent. Roll sound, rolling, roll camera. Banda bolega rolling. Clap display and announcement in front of the camera by the AD. Action. Action ho raha hai, then cut. You get me? Is it okay? Huh? So
Yes, sir.
ये डॉक्यूमेंट कब लगता है? ये डॉक्यूमेंट जब एडिटर जब काम कर रहा है, okay, editor needs the continuity reports. Editor will refer to the continuity sheet or continuity sheet, continuity report, whatever you call it. ठीक है? And he knows, okay, now I'm going to edit scene number 23. Okay, यहाँ पे okay takes क्या है? These are the okay takes, circle वाला takes. ठीक है ना? So he'll only select those takes and arrange them in a certain order. Then he'll start editing.
Sir,
बोलो.
did we write the exact shot that we needed in remarks?
Yeah.
If we have taken like 4 or 5 takes for completing one shot, if the third shot was perfect or near to perfect, do we write that in remarks?
Not necessarily. Whatever shot is perfect, you're circling that shot, na? Take. You're circling that take. The remark column, you need not write anything until unless it's really required. You might feel shot 5 is okay, it is good, but please also have a look at shot number 3. This kind of remarks.
Okay, sir.
Okay, if needed. Otherwise, leave it blank. So this is called. So this is meant not for the director. This is meant for the editor when he edits after the film shooting is completely over. Clear hai? Okay. Now I'll move on to share screen. Okay, chalo, एक second. Can all of you? French New Wave paro. French New Wave. 5 important points about following cinema movements in words each. 5 points for each. French New Wave क्या है बोलो पढ़ो तन्वी.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I don't have much time.
Okay. The French New Wave emerged in the late 1950s as a cinematic movement marked the rebellion against the traditional filmmaking conventions. The filmmakers like François Truffaut and Jean-Luc Godard, Claude Charbol sought to break free from the constraint of classical Hollywood cinema. The French New Wave directors introduced innovative techniques like the jump cuts, handheld cameras, or location shooting and studio-based shooting of the realism. The French New Wave films focused on the daily lives of the people and family and relationships. The French New Wave broke the traditional narrative structure and introduced the concept of non-linear narratives. It has inspired many filmmakers like Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese, who adopted unconventional storytelling and artistic freedom.
Okay. चलो.
सबसे अच्छा सिनेमा मूवमेंट मुझे यही लगता है.
सुनो. First of all, यहाँ पे ठीक है तुमने जो लिखा 70% of it's true. First of all, the French New Wave का major जो है कि it liberated filmmaking. You know, liberated filmmaking in the sense कि by the time the French New Wave thing happened, the movement started in 1959. Okay, and the first film, the popular film It's by Jean-Luc Godard, Breathless. Okay, Francois Truffaut, Claude Chabrol.
Mhm.
There are two other directors, Eric Romer and Jacques Rivette. These are the five young filmmakers who started the movement. Okay, and all of them had their own apna style. First of all, not all the films followed non-linear narrative. अगर रिक्वायरमेंट है तो नॉन लीनियर स्ट्रक्चर होगा, रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है तो लीनियर तरीके से ही जाएंगे. लेकिन उन लोगों ने जो मेजर चीज किया कि वो लोग सस्ते में फिल्म बनाने का है, चीपली. हमारे पास पैसा नहीं है, ट्रैक ट्रॉली हायर करने के लिए पैसा नहीं है, तो हम लोग हैंड हेल्ड करेंगे. दैट वाज द फर्स्ट टाइम. अभी हैंड हेल्ड हैज बिकम सो कॉमन, है ना. लोकेशन शूटिंग, अगर कोई बंदा, गुदार वाज द मोस्ट रिवोल्यूशनरी ऑफ ऑल दीज फिल्म मेकर्स. शूटिंग के दौरान कोई बंदा पासर बाई कैमरा की तरफ देख लिया तो हम लोग कट नहीं करेंगे, हम लोग कंटिन्यू करेंगे. ठीक है, ट्रैक का पैसा नहीं है, हम लोग हैंड में लेंगे. जंप कट्स, these are technical innovations. It became very popular, and these were things which were happening for the first time. अच्छा, हम लोग they were extremely influenced by Hollywood. By the way, they were not anti-Hollywood. They shared a love and hate relationship with Hollywood. But उन लोग का क्या है, उन लोग का जो कहानी होते थे, they were like dealing with common people, the girl next door, the boy next door, the regular family, अपना family जैसा. They were not glamorous people. They were not kind of chakachak. Okay, very ordinary looking kind of, very simple stories of simple people, middle class people, urban stories. Okay, it could be a love story, it could be a thriller, it could be action, but they were very recognizable. Hollywood film तुम जब देखते हो वहाँ के characters, they are not recognizable. मैं वो जमाने का बात बोल रहा हूँ, ठीक है ना. They were good looking people and all that, etc. ठीक है. तो and traditional narrative structures, कभी-कभी actors are looking into the camera directly, not only the passers by. Okay, they were not bothered. They were breaking the this impression of realism sometimes. Okay, but of course, the different directors have different styles. Godard was the most radical, whereas Francois Truffaut was very controlled. He actually used tracks and trolleys. He actually shot inside studios. Godard never shot inside a studio. Okay, मेरे पास पैसा नहीं है, स्टूडियो के अंदर मैं शूट नहीं करूंगा. ठीक है. So there was a very freewheeling style, very bindas. हम लोग today we use the word bindas, ना. So their style of shooting was very, very bindas, very, very cool. समझ गया? So and this French New Wave जो style, जो movement था, it still is influencing filmmakers all over the world. Its influence is everlasting. It's not only Quentin Tarantino or Martin Scorsese. Okay, it has influenced all directors. Any dead director, any living director has been in some manner or the other, less so या more हो, they have been influenced by the French New Wave, the techniques especially. ठीक है. चलो, Italian New Realism पढ़ो.
Okay, Italian neorealism. अच्छा, एक सेकंड से यार धुंधला सा दिख रहा. Italian neorealism portrays the authentic and the realistic portrayal of the life of the people after the World War II. Filmmakers like Roberto Rossellini and Vittorio De Sica and Luciano Visconti sought to capture the authentic experience of the ordinary people. It showed the poor socio-political conditions of the working class of the working class people and the hardships of poverty, like the movie Bicycle Thieves. The actors are also non-professional so that the authentic performance can be driven out of them, as the actors are portraying their own lives and situations on the screen. Italian neorealism as a shooting spot on the real location, which are the real landscape of the post-war in Italy instead of the studios.
You're feeling drowsy, chalo.
Italian neorealism has a significant impact on the global cinema and influenced filmmakers around the world. The movement emphasis on the social issues, humanism, and authenticity paved the way of subsequent cinematic movements such as French New Wave and Iranian New Wave. अच्छा, Iranian भी इसी से inspired है.
ओके, चलो ठीक है. मतलब देखो क्या है, बेसिकली तुम्हारा पहले इटालियन न्यू रियलिज्म फिल्म मूवमेंट आया, बाद में फ्रेंच न्यू वेव आया. ठीक है ना. इटालियन न्यू रियलिस्ट हेटेड हॉलीवुड. ठीक है. द इटालियन न्यू रियलिस्ट फिल्म मेकर्स हेटेड देयर अपना कंट्री का फिल्म्स. ओके, दे सेड कि अपना कंट्री इटालियन फिल्म्स आर इन्फ्लुएंस्ड बाय हॉलीवुड. These are false cinema, false reality, glamorous people. Our reality is different. The world has just ended. We are poor. The economy is in doldrums. So we'll make films on real situations, and glamorous people will not be our characters. Ordinary working class people will be our characters. Real location में जाके shoot करेंगे. Professional actors या stars हम लोग नहीं लेंगे. Okay, unknown people को लेके हम लोग shoot करेंगे. You know, so even before French New Wave, it is actually Italian neorealism which liberated filmmaking. When people, Satyajit Ray, for example, when he saw Bicycle Thieves in London, he saw it for 11 times, 11 consecutive days by Vittorio De Sica. He decided, boss, कितना प्यारा फिल्म है, कितना अच्छा फिल्म है, कितना बिंदास फिल्म है, मैं वापस जाके I also want to be a filmmaker. So he was directly influenced by Bicycle Thieves and Italian realism style.
Which filmmaker? Which filmmaker?
Satyajit Ray, Indian filmmaker Satyajit
Oh yeah,
Ray.
Satyajit Ray.
ठीक है ना?
वैसे it is said about Satyajit Ray कि Martin Scorsese जो थे वो Satyajit Ray से inspired थे.
नहीं, ऐसा बात नहीं है. Martin Scorsese was never inspired by Satyajit Ray. I mean, amongst Martin Scorsese admired a lot of filmmakers, out of which Satyajit Ray भी है. ऐसा नहीं है कि Martin Scorsese का filmmaking style is influenced by Satyajit Ray का style. ये गलत बात है. ठीक है ना? ये दिमाग से हटा दो. ओके, चलो सिनेमा वेरिटे क्या है बोलो. हाँ,
Okay. Cinema verite. Okay. Cinema verite is a meaning is truthful cinema in French. It is a documentary filmmaking style characterized by the observational and unobtrusive approach.
unobtrusive approach. हाँ.
Unobtrusive
यहीं पे
approach.
गलत है. ये उल्टा है. मैं बताऊंगा अब. चलो. हाँ.
अच्छा. It is the way of filmmaking consisting of handheld cameras and natural lighting to keep the audience engaged in the film. Cinema verite captures the moment with authenticity and simplicity, and they do not use scripting and staging the scenes and are very natural. It interacts directly with the subject instead of the traditional barrier of the observer and being observed, which can lead to the candid moments. Cinema verite has lasting impact on the filmmaking landscape, influencing the development of reality television and modern documentary filmmaking.
देखो यहाँ पे
अभी
मैं, हाँ एक सेकंड ठहरो. हाँ,
हाँ.
I'll stop sharing for a while. Okay, देखो यहाँ पे तुमने जो सिनेमा वेरिटे के बारे में बोला, ठीक है ना? देखो सिनेमा वेरिटे is a documentary movement, ठीक है, which started in France in the early 1960s. ठीक है. Jean Rouch is the guy's name. I'll write down the name. Jean R-O-U-C-H. Jean Rouch, okay, is the guy who first started this kind of a movement. Okay, देखो पहले before we understand, and I'm telling this to everybody, please listen to me very carefully, ठीक है ना, so that I don't have to repeat. First we need to understand what is a documentary before we understand what is cinema verite. Documentary, from the very beginning, when cinema was invented in 1895 by the Lumiere brothers. I hope you know these names, Lumiere brothers. Little bit of history you must know, ठीक है ना? Okay, so Lumiere brothers शुरुआत से ही दो ट्रेडिशन दिखाई दिया. एक है फिक्शन, एक है नॉन फिक्शन. नॉन फिक्शन मतलब काइंड ऑफ you're capturing life as it is, a slice of life. ठीक है. So that was one tradition which later developed into something what we know today as documentary filmmaking. Okay, and there's something called the fiction. देखो हजार डिफरेंसेस है, कंट्रोवर्सीज है, डिबेट्स है, दोनों में डिफरेंसेस क्या है. एक तो है मेन डिफरेंसेस क्या है, फिक्शन फिल्म में हम लोग क्या करते हैं, मैनिपुलेशन इज इन्वॉल्व्ड. वी आर स्टेजिंग अ सीन. We are taking actors who are acting as whoever the characters are. They are copying, isn't it? So through art direction, you are changing the location, turning it into a drawing room or a police station or a courtroom. ठीक है. डॉक्यूमेंट्री का कैरेक्टरिस्टिक क्या है, नो स्टेजिंग. हाँ, रियलिटी जैसा है उसको ऐसा कैप्चर करो. ठीक है. मैनिपुलेट मत करो. Okay, don't manipulate the shoot. Real people, real locations, real problems, whatever is your subject matter. Okay, everything has to be real. The only manipulation is the way you frame. That is the only manipulation that you can do. Okay, and documentary का खासियत ये था कि observational मतलब neutral. कैमरा reality को capture करेगा. Reality में अगर कोई whatever is happening, the people who whatever they are doing, they should not be influenced by the presence of the camera. They should not be affected by the presence of the camera. The camera ideally should be almost like a hidden camera. You don't have to hide the camera. Of course, people will understand there is a camera, but the duty of the camera, the duty of the filmmaker is not to interfere, not to influence the life that is unfolding in front of the camera. ठीक है. अभी Jean Rouch ने क्या किया, this French filmmaker, documentary filmmaker, उन्होंने उसका अप्रोच पूरा अलग है। उसका कहना ये है कि बॉस, my camera will not be observation, my camera will be not be neutral, it will not be objective. I will interfere into the reality. I'll step into the reality. I'll thrust my camera and the microphone in front of the unprepared man on the street and ask him questions. Let me see how he reacts. So he made a film, or he asked this rapid questions to particular question to random people walking around on the streets of Paris. Are you happy? Are you happy? Are you happy? Are you happy? The people were not aware. Suddenly they thought that एक बंदा आके कैमरा और माइक लेके बोल रहा है, Are you happy? तो क्या बोलेगा? कोई इग्नोर मार के चला जा रहा है, कोई गुस्सा हो जा रहा है, कोई बोल रहा है yes I'm happy. Maybe he's झूठ बोल रहा है, he's actually not happy. Okay, तो रारुष का कहना है कि cinema जो है, it should not be observational documentary film. It should kind of provoke the people. So sometimes you would stage in the sense, not artificial, not with actors. Now बैठा देंगे actors, characters, real characters को बैठा देंगे कॉफी टेबल में, ठीक है, आउटडोर कॉफी टेबल में, बोलेंगे चलो अल्जेरियन वॉर के ऊपर जो अभी हो रहा है, उसके ऊपर तुम लोग डिस्कस करो। शुरुआत में वो लोग वेरी कॉन्शियस, अरे कैमरा इधर भी कैमरा उधर भी कैमरा, मल्टीपल कैमरास, क्या करूं, then they start discussing, they were aware of the camera, so what is the camera doing? The camera is interfering. Okay, it's provoking you to behave in a certain manner. So according to Jarush, the presence of the camera, creates some kind of a spontaneity in the people, in the subject, which is missing, which is missing in a traditional documentary. So cinema verite is a cinema of provocation. तो आज के तारीख में तुम जब कोई भी डॉक्यूमेंट्री देखो जहाँ पे इंटरव्यूज लिया जा रहा है, या कोई ब्यूरोक्रेट का इंटरव्यू हो, या कोई पॉलिटिशियन का इंटरव्यू हो, दैट इज एक्चुअली डायरेक्ट इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ ट्रेडिशन कंटिन्यूटी बेसिकली of the cinema verite style. Maybe the today's documentary filmmakers are not aware of this term called cinema verite. Okay, but what they don't realize is what they are doing is cinema verite. Okay, so you're participating, the director is participating in the action. Okay, provoking the actors. जैसे कि टेलीविजन स्टूडियोज में जो डिबेट्स होते हैं, लोग हल्ला मचाते हैं, गुस्सा हो जाते हैं, तोड़फोड़ करते हैं, they are aware of the camera. Okay, and the presence of the camera is actually provoking them. When कोई भी political party का कोई representative जो है, कुछ झूठ बोल रहा है, तुम्हें पता है वो झूठ बोल रहा है।
सर मैंने लाइव डिबेट देखी है।
झूठ बोल रहा है क्योंकि उसको पता है ये कैमरा है, कैमरा मुझे लाइव रिकॉर्ड कर रहा है, मेरा पार्टी का इमेज डिफेंड करने का है, प्रमोट करने का है, कोई भी पार्टी हो, ठीक है ना। तो that is actually a cinema verite style, but these guys are not aware. Okay, so that is the main function of cinema verite, that provoke the people, provoke the subject. Okay, provoke them into some kind of a spontaneity. That is also, कोई जगह झूठ बोल रहा है, सही नहीं बोल रहा, that is also a reality, है ना। that is also a reality. Okay, as opposed to cinema verite, there's another movement which happened in America and Canada at the same time, the 90s, called direct cinema, which is just the opposite of cinema verite. Cinema verite is French, direct cinema is American and Canadian, जहाँ पे कि camera would be kind of observational. We will not interfere. Let the workers work. Even if they're aware of the presence of the camera, they should not be influenced by the presence of the camera. ठीक है, जैसे आज कोई क्रिकेट मैच हो रहा है, तो जो बैट कर रहा है, जो फील्डिंग कर रहा है, they are aware कि we are being covered by 70 cameras, but that does not affect their game. That does not affect their performance. Okay, they forget the cameras, they forget the presence of the cameras. Okay, and then concentrate on the game. They concentrate on so that approach is, you might say, a direct approach cinema. That is not cinema verite style. लेकिन आज अगर कोई डॉक्यूमेंट्री बना रहा है, तो it is a combination of both direct cinema and also cinema verite. Cinema verite is much more freewheeling. It's almost like the French New Wave handle. By that time, when both French New Wave happened and cinema verite happened, the cameras had become lightweight. So you can carry the cameras in your hand. Otherwise, the cameras before that were very heavy. You could not carry the recording instruments were, very portable. It had become very portable. The instruments were not heavy. Okay, things had become very flexible. Things had become very, very lightweight. Okay, so you could move around with a small unit, go wherever you want to go, enter a station, enter a train, interview the people, record them, provoke them into something, provoke them into doing a debate. Okay, so that is the cinema verite style. Clear hai? Chalo, let's proceed. Share screen. Okay, chalo. Dogma. It's a very interesting movement. Pado.
Hmm.
Pado. Don't waste time.
Okay, Dogma. Dogma 95. That was a filmmaking technique of Danish filmmakers Lars von Trier and Thomas Winterberg in 1995. The movement was established on the set of strict rule as the vow of chastity, opposite to the traditional filmmaking rules. It has a manifesto of 10 rules of the filmmaking, which included handheld camera, lighting, and commitment to the shooting location on the location without the use of props or sets. The directors maintain a realistic tone on the film while focusing on the narrative instead of special effects and cinematography. They wanted to make a change in the cinema field, like focusing on the story rather than focusing on visually extravagant film. While Dogma 95 had a significant impact on the filmmaking landscape, the movement also faced criticism for rigid rules. Over the time, filmmakers began to reinterpret it and adapt dogma principles rather than strictly adhering to them. Despite it is a very short-lived existence, as a formal movement, Dogma 95 contributed to a broader conversation.
These are lines which don't have any meanings. Broader conversation and all that. There were 10 rules of vow of chastity, which are like, first of all, very important, the director's name will not appear. Okay?
Uh,
Okay, only the certificate will appear, the vow of chastity. Director's name will not appear. You cannot use properties. हाँ, जो लोकेशन में तुम जो शूट करो वो लोकेशन में जो अवेलेबल है प्रॉपर्टीज वही प्रॉपर्टीज तुम्हें यूज करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है? You cannot use any lights except one sunlight, what's that called? Minimum एक basic light है. Only that you can use. You have to use available light. ठीक है? And then it has to be handheld. You will not be allowed tripod. ठीक है? And no tripods allowed. Don't bother about continuities. हाँ, कंटिन्यूटी जर्क्स अगर आएगा तो नो प्रॉब्लम. हाँ, लेकिन हाँ, कहानी जो है वो सॉलिड होनी चाहिए. जो तुम्हारा जो स्क्रिप्ट होनी चाहिए वो तगड़ा स्क्रिप्ट होना चाहिए. वहां पे कोई एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन नहीं होनी चाहिए. ठीक है? तुम प्रोफेशनल एक्टर से के साथ काम करो या नॉन प्रोफेशनल एक्टर के साथ काम करो, लेकिन तुम्हारा दीज आर द सम ऑफ द रूल्स दैट यू हैव टू फॉलो. Okay, no use of properties, no lights, continuity need not be maintained. If you can maintain the continuity, it's fair and well. Okay, otherwise you don't, and the name of the director will not appear. Okay, of course, this was a very short-lived movement. Some very good films were made. Okay, एक है Festen बोल के, Festern by Lars von Trier. Okay, later the same directors, gave up this kind of filmmaking and started making films which are much more controlled. Okay, using sets and lights and properties and things like that. ठीक है? Okay, चलो. तुमने दूसरा नहीं किया वो बिंदी वाला, कुछ कहानी लिखना पड़ेगा तुम लोगों को.
नहीं, वो तो नहीं कर पाई मैं, लेकिन मैं कर
अच्छा
लूंगी अलग
अच्छा,
से.
ठीक है, चलो बाद में. गीत, आर यू देयर?
वैसे भी
Yes,
सर
sir.
1 घंटा मेरे प्रेजेंटेशन में लग गया. ओके, चलो सर.
नहीं, हाँ, who is there now? गीत.
Yes, sir. Present, sir.
Okay, चलो गीत, I'll share your this thing. Okay, चलो पढ़ो गीत.
काफी धुंधला है, चलिए पढ़ता हूँ फिर भी. Continuity reports in filmmaking are like handy guides that help filmmakers keep everything in order and make sure the movie looks smooth and makes sense. They are super important, especially when making big movies with lots of scenes, places, and actors. These reports help keep things consistent and prevent any weird interruptions in the story. Why continuity reports are important? Make things look the same. Continuity reports help keep everything look the same throughout the movie. This includes things like what the characters wear, the stuff they use, and how the places look. This is important so that the movie looks real and believable. Keep the story flowing. They also help keep the story flowing nicely. It's like a roadmap that shows where each scene goes, what happens, and who's doing what. This helps make the movie easy to follow and enjoyable to watch. Help with editing. Continuity reports are a big help for the people who edit the movie. They tell the editors about each shot so that they can put scenes together smoothly. This makes the movie look polished and well made. Actors acting the same. These reports also keep track on how actors act in each scene. This is important so that the characters seem the same throughout the movie, even if the scenes were filmed on different days.
देखो यहाँ पे सिर्फ तुमने जो पॉइंट्स डाला ना, यहाँ पे एक ही जो है सही है, हेल्प्स विद एडिटिंग, ठीक है। बाकी तुमने जो लिखा है एक्टर्स एक्टिंग द सेम एंड मेक थिंग्स लुक द सेम, कीप द स्टोरी फ्लोइंग, ये सब तो हो चुका है। देखो मतलब कंटिन्यूटी रिपोर्ट एज आई टोल्ड यू, it's a record of the shots that the shots or and the takes which have been taken during the shoot, ठीक है। अगर एक्टर्स गलत एक्टिंग कर रहा है तो दैट इज नॉट द बिजनेस ऑफ द गाय और द असिस्टेंट डायरेक्टर्स who's noting down the writing down the continuity report. That is the job of the director, ठीक है। So it's just a maintenance of records, okay। अब जैसे कि हम लोग अकाउंट्स मेंटेन करते हैं, है ना, जो भी खर्चा हुआ, ओके। हम लोग लाइब्रेरी, तुम्हें कोई बड़ा सा लाइब्रेरी में जाओगे तो वहां पे भी आज लाइब्रेरियन मुझे ये किताब चाहिए, एक सेकंड में तुम्हें बोल देगा हाँ वो अलमारी में है, लेफ्ट में जाओ, थर्ड कॉलम में वो किताब तुम्हें मिल जाएगा। So there's a science behind, maintaining books and kind of categorizing them under different headings and all. So you're not confused. So similarly, continuity report is written by one of the assistant directors, okay, for the editor, so that it helps the editor even when the director is not present. Most often the director is not present during the edit, at least during the first cut. The director comes just after the first cut is over, ठीक है ना। फर्स्ट कट के बाद वो फाइनल कट होता है, it goes through several stages, ठीक है। So let's see what else you have written, what's inside the continuity reports, क्या है।
Breaking down the script. Continuity reports start by breaking down the script. This means they look at each scene and figure out where it happens, who's there, and what's going on. It's like a blueprint for making the movie.
देखो सही बात है, लेकिन ये जो अगेन देखो यहाँ पे एक चीज गलत जो है, continuity report start by breaking down the script. What do you mean by breaking down the script? This means they look at each scene and figure out where it happens. Of course, continuity report में तुमने मैंने जो अभी दिखाया डॉक्यूमेंट देखा है ना तुमने, हाँ, ये सब ऑलरेडी हो चुका है, कहाँ पे शूटिंग होगा, कितने लोकेशन में कितने कैरेक्टर्स हैं, ये सब ऑलरेडी हो चुका है, ठीक है ना। So it is not the job of the assistant directors at this stage, okay, to break down the script in terms of properties and costumes and the number of actors in the particular scene, okay। But what it can do is, of course, it is no longer a blueprint, it is a blueprint बन चुका है शूटिंग से पहले, वो प्री प्रोडक्शन में होता है। प्रोडक्शन इज बेसिकली द शूटिंग के टाइम में दौरान कंटिन्यूटी शीट लिखा जाता है, सो रिकॉर्ड ऑफ ईच एंड एवरी सिंगल शॉट एंड टेक, ओके। चलो ऑफ कोर्स सीन्स आर डिस्क्राइब्ड, मैंने जो ब्रॉडर कॉलम मैंने जो दिखाया, पढ़ो, फॉर एवरी सीन द रिपोर्ट्स डिस्क्राइब वेयर इट टेक्स प्लेस, what things are there and what happens. This helps make sure everything looks the same in every scene. No, just a brief description of the scene. Details about the character, the report keeps track of how the characters look. No, this includes what they wear, how they wear. वो दिखाई दे रहा है ना, जब एडिटर वो हम लोग रशेस बोलते हैं, एडिटर जब वो फुटेज देख रहा है या रश देख रहा है तो दिखाई दे रहा है कौन सा कैरेक्टर क्या पहना हुआ है, दिखाई दे रहा है, ठीक है। ये भी जरूरत नहीं है। Props and sets stay the same. No, the reports note down details about things like props and set design. No, this helps keep everything looking the same even if different scenes are shot on different days. No, देखो, of course this is the job of the same guy. He or she will see जब shooting हो रहा है, shot to shot continuity maintain हो रहा है कि नहीं। हाँ, सपोज एक शॉट में बंदा, एक कैरेक्टर जो है लेफ्ट में दारू का ग्लास पकड़ा था, नेक्स्ट शॉट दिया जा रहा है दूसरा एंगल में, वो देखेगा अरे दारू का ग्लास लेफ्ट हैंड में ही पकड़ा है ना, वो राइट हैंड में तो आ नहीं गया ना, दारू का लेवल वही है ना, ग्लास के अंदर, ओके। वो शूटिंग के टाइम में वो देखता है कंटिन्यूटी मेंटेन हो रहा है कि नहीं। ही विल नॉट राइट इट डाउन, ठीक है ना। व्हाट ही विल राइट डाउन, ये कौन सा शॉट लिया जा रहा है, टेक नंबर कितना है, शॉट में हो क्या रहा है, वेरी ब्रीफ डिस्क्रिप्शन, ओके है या एनजी है, ड्यूरेशन क्या है, और रिमार्क्स इफ एनी। फॉलो, सो दीज आर टू डिफरेंट थिंग्स, okay। And weather and time of the day, weather and time, they also keep track of the weather and time of each scene. This helps make sure the movie has a consistent look. देखो, whether the movie has a consistent look or not, वो तो हो चुका है। Again, as I've told you, this document is meant for editing, nothing else, not for shooting. It is taken during the shooting but meant to be used during post production. So that the editor can refer to the document and it helps him to arrange the scenes in the chronological order as it was written in the script, arrange the shots within a particular scene in the order that it was there, the broken down. Okay, and then he'll start editing. Okay, camera and lighting info. The reports note down that cameras and lights are used. देखो camera department के एक अलग continuity sheet होता है. The direction department has got nothing to do with it. ठीक है? So don't write about the camera and lighting info. Again, it's no. Actors, action, and words. The reports also keep track of what actors do, and they say, of course, this comes under the वो जो broad मैंने जो दिखाया broad wide जो column है, brief description of the shot. ठीक है? Whether the character enters the room from left or right, the character opens the door, enters the room left, he walks left to right, sits down on a chair, then he gets up, then he exits right of frame. Direction थोड़ा सा maintain करना जरूरी है करनी. In a nutshell, continuity reports are like cheat sheets for filmmakers. They make sure everything looks and feels the same in every scene. No, it is a cheat sheet for not for filmmakers. It is a cheat sheet, you might say, for the editors. Clear है? समझ में आया ना? तुम लोग जो गलती कर रहे हो, तुम लोग देखो, there's something called before you start shooting. You know, this is the job of the first AD or the second AD or the chief AD. Yeah, two ADs can work together. You break down the scenes. हाँ, ये scene number 23. Okay, कहाँ पे होगा? हाँ, ये समुद्र के किनारे होगा. ठीक है, चलो यहाँ पे कितने कैरेक्टर्स हैं? हाँ, अच्छा, ओके, हीरो, हीरोइन और ये गुंडे लोग रहेंगे. अच्छा, हीरो क्या क्या प्रॉपर्टीज चाहिए? हीरो का कार चाहिए. हीरो क्या पहना है? अच्छा, कॉस्ट्यूम्स का लिस्ट बनाओ. हीरोइन क्या पहनी है? साड़ी पहनी है, वह पहनेगी. हाँ, चलो, कौन सा कलर की साड़ी पहनेगी? अच्छा, रेड कलर की साड़ी, शिफॉन. ओके, गुंडे लोग बाइक में आएंगे, कितने बाइक जरूरत है? ओके, गुंडे लोग का कॉस्ट्यूम्स क्या होंगे? गुंडे लोग का टोपी पहने हैं, कुछ गुंडे टोपी पहने हैं. कितने गुंडे हैं? कितना गुंडे टोपी पहना है? कितना गुंडा टी शर्ट पहना है? कैसा टी शर्ट पहना है? This is called script breakdown. You're breaking down the script. This happens before the shoot. This is not continuity report. Are you getting me what I'm saying? ठीक है ना? ये अभी ये जो तुमने रिपोर्ट बनाया, इसको स्क्रिप्ट ब्रेकडाउन. ठीक है, ये स्क्रिप्ट ब्रेकडाउन जो तुमने किया, अभी वो ये सब जुगाड़ करना पड़ेगा शूटिंग से पहले, ड्यूरिंग प्री प्रोडक्शन, so that on the day of the shoot all these things are ready, already they are there. On the day of the shoot you cannot say, अरे यार मुझे तो ये जरूरत था, साइकिल का जरूरत था, ये साइकिल किधर है? साइकिल. No, it's too late now. Okay, the cycle should have been, brought beforehand, arranged beforehand, whatever the properties or the special properties. एक सीन में तुम्हें कोई एनिमल का जरूरत, कुत्ते का जरूरत है. अरे यार, कुत्ता कहाँ से मिलेगा यार? No, it's too late now. Kutta, you should have arranged the kutta beforehand. Okay, nothing to do with continuity sheet, nothing to do with continuity report. Clear hai?
Yes sir.
Okay, chalo, let's move now. French New Wave. हाँ, French New Wave पढ़ो. हाँ,
ये आंसर थोड़ा सा लंबा हो गया था.
अच्छा, पढ़ो. हाँ, देखो, please try to maintain the word count. Don't get carried away. Okay, this is a very important thing. Okay, चलो. No, अगर 500 words बोला, तुम्हारा आंसर 300 words में खत्म हो जा रहा है, no problem. Okay, chalo.
A rejection of traditional filmmaking techniques. It was characterized by a deliberate rejection of traditional filmmaking conventions. Filmmakers embraced handheld cameras, jump cuts, and natural lighting, giving their films a fresh and spontaneous feel.
Correct hai. Chalo.
Emphasis on youth culture and realism. One of the defining features of the French New Wave was its emphasis on portraying the lives of young people and capturing the authenticity of everyday experiences. The movement often depicted characters dealing with issues of love, identity, and existentialism, authorism, and directional freedom. The filmmakers were strong
proponents of the author theory,
which emphasized the director as the primary creative force behind a film. This led to a sense of artistic freedom, allowing directors to infuse their personal style and thematic concerns into their work. Influence on international cinema. The impact of the French New Wave extended beyond France, influencing filmmakers worldwide and shaping the course of international cinema. Its innovative approach to storytelling and filmmaking techniques inspired subsequent generations of directors, contributing to the evolution of film as an art form. Legacy and lasting influence. It left a legacy that continues to shape contemporary filmmaking. Its influence can be seen in the stylistic choices of filmmakers who incorporate elements of the movement into their work.
Okay, सही है. देखो, यहाँ पे एक चीज मैं बताना चाहता हूँ. Everything is okay. यहाँ पे सिर्फ authorism जो है, ये I don't know whether you understand what you have written authorism. देखो, author theory बोलते हैं. Author मतलब author मतलब लेखक, है ना? Author author theory or author theory क्या है? The French filmmakers are the first people. Traditional filmmaking में क्या होता था? The script writer वो script लिखता था, ठीक है? The producer approves उसकी ना अच्छा script है. Then the director used to be hired, ठीक है? The director used to direct the script, ठीक है? So ये हॉलीवुड का स्टूडियो सिस्टम जो हॉलीवुड का स्टूडियो सिस्टम है जो होता है वहां पे ऐसा दिस वाज द प्रैक्टिस व्हिच वाज फॉलो. ओके, द स्क्रिप्ट राइटर इज राइटिंग द स्क्रिप्ट एंड द डायरेक्टर इज डायरेक्टिंग द फिल्म. ओके, तो ये जो फ्रेंच फिल्म मेकर्स है फ्रांसोis ट्रूफो, Jean-Luc Godard, प्लीज रिमेंबर दीज नेम्स. देयर आर 5 इंपॉर्टेंट नेम्स. ओके, दे स्टार्टेड द career as reviewers of a very influential film magazine called Cahiers du Cinema, जिसका एडिटर था आंद्रे बाजा. ये सब बेसिक इंफॉर्मेशन याद रखना बॉस. ये कुछ भी पूछ सकता है, कभी भी पूछ सकते हैं, ठीक है? So they started the career as film reviewers, and they were reviewing American films mostly. They did not understand English, and they were watching American films without subtitles. समझ के देखो. फिर भी there were analysis of those American films. Hollywood films were fantastic. They were also influenced by Italian neorealist films, filmmakers like Rossellini and Vittorio De Sica, who made Bicycle Thieves and all. Okay, उन लोग का कहना ये था कि बॉस कोई भी स्क्रिप्ट से फिल्म बने ना क्यों, हॉलीवुड फिल्म के बारे में वो लोग ज्यादा बोलते थे कि स्टूडियो का एक छप्पा आता है, वो समझ में आता है. दिस इज अ MGM प्रोडक्शन, दिस इज अ वार्नर ब्रदर्स प्रोडक्शन, दिस इज अ 20th सेंचुरी फॉक्स प्रोडक्शन, दिस इज यशराज का प्रोडक्शन होगा, ये तो अनुराग कश्यप का प्रोडक्शन लग रहा है, ठीक है ना? ठीक है, सब स्टूडियो का या प्रोड्यूसर्स का अपना अपना एक स्टाइल होता था, ठीक है? लेकिन उसके अंदर डायरेक्टर का एक पर्सनल स्टेटमेंट, पर्सनल स्टाइल, पर्सनल वॉइस, वो कुछ डायरेक्टर्स का आता था, बहुत डायरेक्टर्स का नहीं आता, ठीक है? तो फ्रेंच फिल्म मेकर्स लव्ड एंड एडमायर्ड दोज स्टूडियो डायरेक्टर्स जिनका पर्सनल वॉइस came through the studio films that they were making. The scripts were written by somebody else. They were dictated by the studio heads were sitting on their heads and dictating, ऐसा कर. फिर भी, despite all the pressures, studio pressures, their personal, they figured out ways to convey their personal messages or personal voice. Maybe in terms of style, maybe in terms of treatment, maybe in terms of whatever. So that is called author theory. So according to these guys, good filmmakers are those filmmakers जिसका personal voice is manifest, okay, and the director is the actual author. It's not the script writer, it's not the studio, it's not the producer. Of course you need a producer, of course you need a production house, you need a studio, of course you might need a, if you have not written it yourself, you might need a screenwriter, but it is your stuff, it is your baby, your voice should come across. That is called authorism. Clear है? This is a very important thing. और तुमने इन्फ्लुएंस लिखा, लास्टिंग इन्फ्लुएंस लिखा, तुम्हें ये भी लिखना चाहिए था who they were influenced by. They were influenced by American Hollywood filmmakers, okay, not all. They had a Howard Hawks, John Ford, Alfred Hitchcock, Nicholas Ray. A whole lot of directors were influenced by, okay, and they're also influenced by Italian neorealist filmmakers, okay. जैसे मैंने नाम बोला, Roberto Rossellini and Vittorio De Sica, people like these, okay. चलो, Italian neorealism.
Realism and authenticity. It was rooted in a commitment to realism and authenticity. Filmmakers aimed to capture the everyday struggles of ordinary people, often using non professional actors and filming on location to create a sense of genuine lived experience. Focus on social issues. The movement focused on social issues and the impact of war on Italian society. Films like De Sica's Bicycle Thieves and Rossellini's Rome Open City dealt with the struggles of the working class, poverty, and the aftermath of conflict. Italian neorealist films sought to reflect the social and economic realities of the time. Influence of literature and theatre. It drew inspiration from the literature and theatre, incorporating elements of everyday life into its narratives. The movement rejected the glamorous and escapist nature of the traditional cinema, opting instead for stories grounded in the struggles
जब
and
यहाँ पे
triumphs of
एक
ordinary
चीज मैं
people.
बताना चाहता हूँ, इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ लिटरेचर एंड थिएटर, तुम ये इन्फॉर्मेशन कहाँ से मिला?
इंटरनेट पर सर्च कर रहा था तो
नहीं, ये गलत है.
एक जगह
अगर
पे पढ़ा
इंटरनेट में
था.
अगर ये इन्फॉर्मेशन मिला भी है तुम्हें, ये गलत है. दे वर नॉट इन्फ्लुएंस, दे डिड नॉट ड्रॉ इंस्पिरेशन फ्रॉम लिटरेचर एंड थिएटर एट ऑल. Okay, in fact, they drew their inspiration, as you've written, from everyday, the social reality. Okay, incorporating elements of everyday reality into its narratives. They were not dependent on literature and theatre. Okay, chalo.
Significance of non-professional actors. A distinctive feature of Italian neorealism was the use of non-professional actors, often chosen for their resemblance to the characters they portrayed. This contributed to the film's authenticity as the actors brought a genuine quality to their performances. International impact and legacy. It had a profound impact on the global cinematic landscape. Its legacy can be traced to the in the continued exploration of social issues and the use of realistic storytelling techniques in contemporary cinema.
देखो दिस इज ये जो लास्ट तुमने लिखा ना ये थोड़ा सा डिटेल होना चाहिए था. इट्स टू वेग, इट्स टू जनरल. मतलब इट हैड अ लास्टिंग इम्पैक्ट ऑन. देखो फर्स्ट मेजर थिंग इज कि this is the first film movement, which actually challenged traditional studio filmmaking. Okay, because Rome had a major studio called Cine Sati Studio. It was heavily bombed during the Second World War, and whatever remained of the studio at that time, it was being used as a refugee camp. People who fled from the villages came to the city, and they took shelter here in the big studio. So there was no way they could use the studio. But anyway, they were against using shooting studios. Okay, so they preferred shooting in real locations. तो बाइसाइकिल थीम्स अगर देखोगे तुम्हें पता चलेगा. प्लीज वॉच दिस फिल्म फॉर बाइसाइकिल थीम्स. इट्स अवेलेबल ऑन
देखिए
टॉरेंट.
सर.
डाउनलोड करके देख लेना. ठीक है. एंड अगेन देयर vow was कि we will not work with professional actors and stars and all. They hated their own cinema. They hated Hollywood. The French New Wave had a love and hate relationship with Hollywood, but these guys hated Hollywood. ठीक है ना. And lasting impact therefore, because for the first time it liberated filmmaking in the sense that filmmaking was a very clumsy and a bulky and a expensive affair. These directors are the guys for the first time they showed कि यार तुम्हें उतना ताम झाम जरूरी नहीं है. स्टूडियो में क्यों तुम शूट करो, तुम रियल लोकेशन में जाके शूट करो. तुम्हें क्यों प्रोफेशनल एक्टर से तुम अपना non-professional actors को लेकर shoot करो. Okay, so that's a kind of liberation. That is a very important word that we must use, both for Italian New Realism and also the French New Wave. Okay, this number one. Number two, their impact. You have to be very very specific. Indian New Wave cinema was heavily influenced by Satyajit Ray, Mrinal Sen, Hrithik Ghatak, Bimal Roy. Okay, early Gurudutt, early Raj Kapoor. Not the later Gurudutt or later Raj Kapoor. Okay, and later on these guys who came to make films, Kundan Shah, Sham Benegal. Okay, so heavily influenced by the Italian realist filmmakers and the filmmaking style. Okay, neo का मतलब क्या है? Neo realism, new approach to realism. Cinema is always realistic. At least it gives a sense of realism. Okay, but यहाँ पे neo realism इसलिए बोला जा रहा है कि our approach is new, is different from the glamorous world of Hollywood. It is different from the glamorous world of our apna cinema, apna national cinema, which was they used a very derogatory word for Italian cinema, which preceded them. They call it our cinema is the cinema of white telephones. Rich people wake up in the morning wearing white gowns and fancy cars, driving around in fancy cars and talking over white telephones, expensive telephones. So they hated their apna cinema, own cinema. They hated Hollywood. Okay, so you have to be very very specific. And the influence, I'm talking about the influence of the legacy. It had a major impact on the French New Wave filmmakers. It had a major impact on all filmmaking movements in the country, in the world, including including Iranian New Wave. Iranian New Wave movement started from the late 1960s. Okay, they were heavily, even now, तुम अगर अब्बास कियारोस्तामी का फिल्म, माजिद माजिदी का फिल्म देखोगे, तुम्हें पता चलेगा कि they are heavily influenced by use of kids, use of real locations. Okay, use of spontaneous reactions. Okay, Iranian cinema is heavily influenced by even now contemporary Iranian cinema is heavily influenced by Italian environments. Okay, chalo, cinema verite.
Observational and unobtrusive filmmaking. Cinema verite filmmakers sought to
नहीं,
capture
यही तो
reality.
गलत है ना बॉस. देखो तो पहले ही वो भी previous student also. It is not observational and it is not unobtrusive. Unobtrusive मतलब no interference. Observational matlab neutral, objective. No, cinema verite was just the opposite. Okay, it was provocative cinema. It was provocative style. Interfere करेगा, लोगों को परेशान करेगा, लोगों को provoke करेगा, लोगों को बोलेगा तुम क्या है तुम्हारा सोच, अभी जो कंट्री में हो रहा है तुम क्या सोचते हो, बोलो. And the man is not prepared maybe. Okay, चलो हाँ करो. I don't know whether even if you've got this information on the net, this is not right information. Okay.
This allowed the camera to document events naturally, as a handheld cameras and minimal interruption. A defining characteristic of cinema verite was the use of lightweight handheld cameras. This allowed filmmakers to move freely and capture spontaneous movements without the need of elaborate setups.
सही बात है. चलो.
Emphasis on the truth and authenticity. It placed a strong emphasis on the truth and authenticity. Filmmakers aimed to present an unfiltered and honest portrayal of their subjects, avoiding manipulation or editorial interference. This commitment to truth contributed to the genre's reputation and for capturing the reality of the situations it depicted. Influence on news and television. This style had a significant impact on news reporting and television documentary filmmaking. Its influence can be seen in the shift towards more naturalistic and immersive approaches to
सही
storytelling.
बात है. Influence on the news and television जो मैं बता रहा था थोड़ी देर पहले. Okay. Then
Challenges to traditional documentary form. It challenged the traditional documentary filmmaking by eschewing the structured and narrated format. Instead, it embraced a more spontaneous and open-ended approach. This departure from convention marked a significant evolution in the documentary genre, paving the way for more diverse range of storytelling techniques.
सही बात है. चैलेंज मैं देखो मैं अभी बता रहा था. आई होप यू हैड हर्ड मी कि सिनेमा वेरिटे इज अ स्टाइल ऑफ इट्स अ स्टाइल दैट इट्स अ प्रोवोकेटिव. इट्स प्रोवोकेशन. ठीक है. पीपल आर मेड अवेयर ऑफ द एग्जिस्टेंस ऑफ द कैमरा. ठीक है. दैट इज सिनेमा वेरिटे as opposed to direct cinema or direct cinema is kind of a falls into the tradition of a more conservative approach to documentary filmmaking jahan pe the camera is just observation. It's not it's not intruding. It's looking at the things from a distance. Okay, the people are either not aware, or even if they're aware, they're not disturbed or influenced by the presence of the camera. That is more traditional approach towards documentary. Whereas cinema verite is exactly the opposite. Cinema verite will enter your house with a microphone and a camera. बोलेगा क्या सोच रहे हो, बैठे बैठे टीवी देख रहे हो, दुनिया में क्या हो रहा है तुम्हें पता है, बोलो गाजा में जो हो रहा है तुम्हारा सोच क्या है. And you are not prepared for this kind of a question. Suddenly you are disturbed. Suddenly you are looking into the camera. That is cinema verite. It's provocative. चलो तुम लोग डिस्कस करो. हाँ, 4 बंदे बैठकर दारू पी रहे हो, टीवी देख रहे हो, फिल्म देख रहे हो. हाँ, बंद करो, चलो डिस्कस करो गाजा में क्या हो रहा है. whatever is the whatever is the topic. Okay, and suddenly you are disturbed. Then you are looking at the camera. Then you start discussing, and the director or the cameraman is throwing questions at you. नहीं, तुम्हें लगता है तुम सही बोल रहे हो. What about this? He's challenging you, constantly challenging you. Okay, he's provoking you. That is cinema verite. Follow, which is like
Yes,
which has a tremendous influence on television debates. जो है वहां पे जो एंकर रहता है, वो एंकर इंटरफेयर करता है. तुम बात बोलो, तुम्हें स्टॉप कर देता है, तुम्हें चैलेंज करता है, तुम गुस्सा हो जाते हो, किसी और को बोलता है आप बोलिए आपका क्या कहना है, नहीं वो गलत बोल रहा है. दैट इज द एंटायर थिंग इज प्रोवोकेशन. वो तो कमर्शियल रीजंस के लिए करता है टेलीविजन. ओके, बट ये लोग दे डिड इट फॉर ऑथेंटिक रीजंस. ऑफ कोर्स देयर वाज नो कमर्शियल thing involved, angle involved to it. Okay, they were great people, great filmmakers, and the main guy was this guy called Jean Rouch, Jeanrouch. Okay, उसका एक famous documentary है, which was playing on movie for a long time, but it's no longer there. It's called, I'll tell you the name. I'm forgetting the name. ठीक है, चलो Dogma 95.
scroll करिएगा सर. The vow of chastity. It established as ऊपर ऐसा थोड़ा ऊपर कर दीजिए, पहला पॉइंट नहीं पढ़ता. It established a set of strict rules known as the vow of chastity. These rules aim to purify filmmaking by restricting the use of artificial elements and encouraging a more authentic and straightforward approach. Lighting and the exclusion of superficial action or genre-related elements. Emphasis on story and character. It emphasized the importance of storytelling and character over technical embellishments. Filmmakers following the dogma principles focused on raw human stories and authentic performances, rejecting special effects and post-production manipulation. One of the key principles of Dogma 95 was the rejection of special effects and post-production manipulations. Filmmakers committed to the movement aimed to capture the reality of the moment during filming, discouraging the use of artificial enhancements or visual tricks in post production. Handheld cameras and location shooting. It advocated the use of handheld cameras for a documentary style intimate feel. Additionally, filmmakers were encouraged to shoot on location, avoiding constructed sets and studio environments to create a sense of authenticity in the storytelling. Limited technical equipment. It limited the use of technical equipment to foster creativity and resourcefulness. Filmmakers adhering to the movement's principles embrace the challenge of working with minimal resources, encouraging a more inventive and innovative approach to filmmaking.
तुम्हारे बात कोई नहीं है क्या? हाँ?
पता नहीं।
अच्छा चलो लेट्स डिस्कस। हाँ ठीक है, तुमने देखो तुमने जो लिखा है सही है। यहाँ पे दो तीन चीज है। यहाँ पे देखो दो तीन चीज है। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल एज आई वाज डिस्कसिंग अर्लियर कि ज्यादा रिजेक्टिंग स्पेशल इफेक्ट्स एंड पोस्ट प्रोडक्शन मैनिपुलेशन, ओके, एंड लिमिटेड टेक्निकल इक्विपमेंट। तो मेजर पॉइंट्स ये है कि तुमने लिखा यहाँ पे dogma principle focused on raw human stories and authentic performances. Okay, so this is not just the quality of dogma filmmakers, dogma films, but also these kind of films could have been made in a more conventional manner. Also, there's nothing. I mean, this is not something unique to Dogma 95. Dogma 95 का जो फीचर्स तुमने कुछ कुछ तुमने मेंशन किया। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मिनिमल मिनिमल इक्विपमेंट्स, मिनिमल नेचुरल लाइट में शूट करो, नो आर्टिफिशियल लाइट्स, एक बेसिक लाइट रहेगा, सनगन जिसे हम लोग बोलते हैं, जो जरूरत है वो अगर नाइट शूट है तो तुम यूज कर सकते हो। ठीक है, नो लाइट्स यू शुड बी यूज, नो रियल लोकेशंस और प्रॉपर्टीज, यू कैन नॉट ब्रिंग प्रॉपर्टीज फ्रॉम आउटसाइड। जो प्रॉपर्टीज अवेलेबल है वही प्रॉपर्टीज का इस्तेमाल करना जरूरी है। तुम कहीं बाहर से प्रॉपर्टीज लाके यू कैन नॉट डू अप द सेट, सो कॉल्ड लोकेशन। ओके, सेट का तो कोई सवाल ही नहीं है, नो रोल फॉर द आर्ट डायरेक्टर और द प्रोडक्शन डिजाइनर। ठीक है, कंटिन्यूटी गोली मारो, कंटिन्यूटी मेंटेन कर सकते हो तो मेंटेन करो, नहीं तो कंटिन्यूटी अगर मेंटेन नहीं हो रहा है तो मेंटेन नहीं हो रहा है, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। हैंडल होंगे, नो ट्राइपॉड। ठीक है, और द मेन थिंग इज कि द नेम ऑफ द डायरेक्टर विल नॉट अपीयर ऑन द स्क्रीन। ओके, इट्स जस्ट अ सर्टिफिकेट व्हिच विल अपीयर। वहां पे वाव ऑफ चैस्टिटी रहेगा, एंड इंडिविजुअल डायरेक्टर्स विल नॉट बी क्रेडिटेड with the making of the film. Of course, people knew ये film किसने बनाया है, because it was like a club. It was like you have to be a member of this club by signing on this document, vow of chastity. Okay, so 10 points. Okay, and very difficult points. I mean, most of them, this was a very short-lived, very short-lived movement, and most of the directors, just like Lars von Trier, Thomas Winterberg, they admitted later all of them had cheated. Cheated in the sense they had used external properties during the shoot, some amount of lighting, artificial lighting they had used. Look, सबने cheating किया. They had not stuck to the vow of chastity. But it was a very interesting movement. Again, it's almost like cinema verite कि minimum ताम झाम, okay, minimum kind of technical dependence, okay, minimal, जितना minimal हो सके वो उसका सहारा लेके अपना फिल्म बनाओ। okay, don't be dependent on heavy duty stuff, technical stuff। ठीक है, okay, anybody else? I'll stop sharing now। बाकी सब भाग गए?
3 लोग हैं।
अरे यार बुलाओ, लेट्स टेक अ 10 मिनट ब्रेक। ठीक है, हम लोग कितना भी 8:45 को मिलेंगे। ओके, बाकी लोगों को बुलाओ प्लीज, बिकॉज आई नाउ nobody else is ready with their assignments. Let's discuss certain general things and I'll suggest names of certain books. Take down the names and you'll get them in torrent or wherever and you can download them and read them। ठीक है ना? सो 10 मिनट का ब्रेक लेते हैं। 8:45 हम लोग मिलेंगे। ठीक है, 8:45। प्लीज आस्क द अदर्स टू कम। Okay, guys, are you back? Hello, please respond.
Hello, sir.
या और कोई बाकी है किसी का? तन्वी ने पढ़ी है, गीत ने पढ़ लिया, अनन्या, प्रागी, तुम लोगों का क्या हो गया आज? हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू देयर टोटल? कितने हो?
आप आपको मिला के 5 है अभी यहाँ पे।
नहीं, टोटल आज का बात नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, जनरली।
11 के आसपास है जहाँ तक मुझे पता है।
अच्छा, 11 के आसपास।
Sir, actually, I knew the answers. The reason why I didn't write them is because I wanted to have my own take on it. Like, it's not that, yeah, because internet पे तो वो definitions तो पता ही है सब
तो
सारे सब.
ठीक है, तो अपना
So,
टेक तुमने क्यों नहीं लिखा अपना टेक?
sir, because I need a little time to like think. It's not that I haven't seen the films. I have few of them, but I want to like actually think that if I were to make it, how would I make it? So that's the reason I
देखो
didn't.
बात क्या है, जब तुम एग्जाम एग्जाम के लिए बैठोगे, वेयर आर यू
Yes,
फ्रॉम?
sir.
वेयर आर यू फ्रॉम?
Sir, Mumbai.
मुंबई। अच्छा, तुम जब एग्जाम के लिए बैठोगे, सेंटर में जाओगे, तुम्हें तो इतना टाइम नहीं मिलेगा ना
Yeah,
सोचने
sir.
की। क्या
Yeah.
तो तुरंत वहीं पे बैठ के, टाइम लिमिट है, तो टाइम लिमिट के अंदर यू हैव टू राइट।
Yeah, sir.
So you should have written, which you have not done. Okay, most of you
Yeah.
have not done.
Next class, sir, for sure. Like I'll cover up like in short. Like,
जो भी मन में आए लिखो, क्योंकि
yeah,
you
sir.
never know. You have to take this chance. Maybe when you're writing an answer to a question, you may not be sure. So you're writing stuff that you're not sure of, but maybe what you're writing is
Mm.
correct.
Yeah,
है ना?
sir.
The
Yeah.
idea is to get into the school, film school, isn't
Yeah,
it?
sir. Yeah.
So you should not kind of give up. So
Yeah, sir.
improvise karo, लिखो सब, maybe 70% of what you have written is correct and 30% is not correct. So
Yeah, sir.
it will only go in your favor. और ये
Mm.
ऐसा एक एग्जाम है, I can tell you कि they can ask you anything under the sun.
Yeah,
मतलब
sir.
इट्स ऑलमोस्ट लाइक आईएएस का प्रिपरेशन जो होते हैं ना, कि
True.
आज हम लोग फ्रेंच न्यू वेव डिस्कस कर रहे हैं एंड इटालियन न्यू रियलिज्म डिस्कस कर रहे हैं। ओके, एग्जाम में कुछ और आ सकता है विच यू आर नॉट एक्सपेक्टेड।
Mm.
तुम जो पढ़ के गए थे वो नहीं आया, कुछ और आया। So one has to really be on your toes. You have to be on your toes, and you have to do a tremendous amount of reading about
True.
cinema. अभी जो मैं देख रहा हूँ, हमारे टाइम में जो था 30 years ago, और अभी जो देख रहा हूँ हमारे टाइम में, देखो, we were not asked questions on film movements and what is continuity and stuff like that. ठीक है
Mm.
ना? Because idea was कि the students who are coming to film school, they are not aware of these things. They'll learn all
True.
these things in the film school, isn't it?
True.
You're not
Yeah.
required to understand, not everybody in India is exposed equally to, cultures, different
Mm.
cultures. Okay.
True.
So, but there are certain things which are common to everybody. तुम गांव के हो या शहर के हो या साउथ इंडिया के हो या नॉर्थ इंडिया के हो, and you should be sensitive to. The last question was a very intelligent question. जो write a story in the form of a cinematic treatment on the bindi that women wear.
Yeah, yeah, sir.
So that is a kind of question for which you do not have, you do not need to know, do not need to have a previous knowledge, isn't
True.
it? Everybody knows what is a bindi. Any Indian student would know what is a bindi. A
True,
foreign
sir.
student may not know. Okay, so those were the kind of questions which you asked. जैसे कि लास्ट वीक में जो मेरे साथ हुआ था क्लासेस, out of a chart of 10 sounds, use 5 sounds to write a story. Okay,
Yeah.
so these are the kind of questions which we were asked. Okay,
Yeah.
and of course we were also required to know about Indian cultural affairs, Indian folk tales, folk history, culture, history.
Yes,
The
sir.
special emphasis on culture, art and culture.
Yeah,
Okay,
sir.
but अभी जो मैं trend देख रहा हूँ, for the last 2 years I've been having classes with craft students. कि यहाँ पे ऐसा क्वेश्चन अभी भी पूछा जा रहा है about Indian art, culture, history and all, and questions like use of sound and bindi and all, which are very general questions. अभी जो focus अभी जो देख रहा हूँ, it is also on cinema related questions, which I find a little kind of surprising, because you're not required to know all these things. Continuity क्या होता है, 180 degrees rules क्या होता है, you're not required to know. But unfortunately, if these are the kind of questions which are being asked, then you have to know.
Yeah, sir.
So तुम्हारा kind of scope और भी थोड़ा सा widen हो गया, पढ़ने का scope, जानने का scope for
Yeah, sir.
the purpose of exam.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
How would a student know what is cinema verite? How would a student know what is Dogma 95? Maybe one reason is this, as I assume, now because our generation for the last 20 years is exposed to the internet.
True,
No,
sir.
so internet mein all information is available. Abhi AI aa gaya, chat GPT aa gaya, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
sir.
you are required to be up to date. Abhi there are film schools. You can learn about filmmaking on YouTube. YouTube तुम करोगे, what is 180 rule, how to break the rule with examples. Everything is there under the sun.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
there are people who say ki, why do you need to go to a film school? Why can't you learn filmmaking from YouTube? That is another approach.
Yes,
Not
sir.
everybody subscribes to that. Okay, so maybe that is why FTI and SRFTI, both these institutions are kind of, they expect that maybe you are up to date because of internet. So you are required to know all these things. Okay, so that could be a logic. That could be an angle. I'm not very sure, but I think that is the thing, because today everything is available. All kind of information is available. Okay, so yeah, any specific questions you want to ask me? Because we got 7 minutes in hand. Geet, are you there?
Sir, can you give the books you were talking
Yes, sir,
about?
I'm here.
Yeah. I'll just show you this thing. Yeah, तुम snapshot ले लो, वहाँ पे कौन सा पढ़ने का है, I'll tell you. I'll try to highlight just a moment. These are film books, These are not nothing to do with Indian culture and all.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So you don't have to read all the books. Can you see? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
There are so many books. 63
not
books.
all. Yeah, visible.
You're not required to read all these. I'll just tell you which ones you must read. एक है grammar of the edit and grammar of the short. दिखाई दे रहा है? मैं highlight किया. Second row में देखो. दिखाई दे रहा है?
Yeah, sir.
Yes,
Grammar of the edit है ना? फिर grammar of the short है. Grammar of the short दिखाई दे रहा है?
Yeah, sir.
yes,
These two books, ठीक है. अगर दोनों किताब अगर नहीं भी पढ़ो तो एक किताब तो पढ़ लो, ग्रामर ऑफ द शॉर्ट तो पढ़ लो, ठीक है ना. अच्छा, दिस इज अ वेरी गुड बुक, हाउ टू रीड अ फिल्म. देखो, all these books are available, PDF तुम you can download on torrent, I think, okay, or whatever pirated, whatever are there. How to read a film. This is a fantastic book. Again, you don't have to read this whole book, ठीक है. यहाँ पे you can understand, यहाँ पे end में there's a section on history of cinema also. Okay, एक सेकंड. हाँ रैम भाई, आपको मैं 5 मिनट बात सुन रहा हूँ. So how to read a film by James Monaco. This is a fantastic book. हम लोग बचपन से ये किताब रेफर करते आ रहे हैं, ठीक है. Then This is a very good book, Nuts and Bolts of Filmmaking. This is a very good book. Okay, दिखाई दे रहा है? हाँ.
Yes, sir.
And then there is another book called Shoot Me, Independent Filmmaking for Creative Concept to Rousing Reviews. This is another very good book. यहाँ पे फिल्म मेकिंग के बारे में बेसिक फंडा तुम्हें मिल जाएंगे. The technicalities of filmmaking, what is a continuity sheet or continuity report, clapboard कैसा देखने में होता है. All these books,
Yes,
all
sir.
these books will give you this information. Especially these two books, Shoot Me and the other book, Nuts and Bolts of Filmmaking. Okay, very
Okay,
practical, to the point, easy language. Continuity sheet क्या होता है, how to do a scene breakdown क्या होता है, you know. और है, और मैं देख रहा हूँ, बाकी जरूरत नहीं है तुम. द ऑक्सफोर्ड हिस्ट्री ऑफ वर्ल्ड सिनेमा, दिस इज अ वेरी गुड बुक. अगेन यू डोंट हैव टू रीड द होल बुक. हिस्ट्री के बारे में तुम्हें वहीं से मिल जाएंगे. हाउ टू रीड अ फिल्म बाय जेम्स मोनाको, जो अभी बोला. अदरवाइज ऑक्सफोर्ड हिस्ट्री ऑफ वर्ल्ड सिनेमा में मिल जाएंगे. ओके, एंड दिस इज अ वेरी गुड बुक. देखो, द विजुअल स्टोरी दिखाई दे रहा है, विजुअल स्टोरी.
Yes, sir.
This is another very good. You're noting down, na? You're jotting down.
Yes, sir.
So these are the
Yes,
couple
sir.
of books. These are the couple of, आप ज्यादा books में refer नहीं करूँगा. You get confused. और जरूरत भी नहीं है. लेकिन ये जो basic books मैंने तुम्हें बोला, these are some of the basic books. और एक मैं बता रहा हूँ, और एक किताब है. ठहरो. This book is a very good book. Film Art and Introduction by David Bordwell and Christian Thompson. This is almost like a Bible. दिखाई दे रहा है?
Yeah,
अभी
sir.
नहीं sir.
Film
हाँ
Art.
भाई.
This is a very good book. और उसके ऊपर वाला Film A Critical Introduction. This is also a very good book. आएगा, पिक्चर आएगा. Film Art, just film. Film A Critical Introduction. ठीक है ना? ये
Yeah,
किताब, ये बस, और नॉट कंफ्यूजिंग. ठीक है. तो ये कुछ किताब तुम्हें फ्री में मिल जाएंगे पीडीएफ में.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, if you want to buy hard copies, they are very expensive. Film books are always very expensive.
Yes,
2000-3000 रुपए लेते हैं. ठीक है. और एक किताब जरूर पढ़ो, सत्यजीत रे का Our Films, Their Films. I'll write down. Okay. Our Films, Their Films by Satyajit Ray. ठीक है. Beautiful book. Okay, a series of essays, articles that he has written. He was a prolific writer. Okay, इसका भी किताब पढ़ लेना. और इंडियन सिनेमा के ऊपर एक किताब है, अनफॉर्चुनेटली दैट इज आउट ऑफ प्रिंट. I'll see if I can give it to you through Naresh Sharma. ठीक है. So I have a PDF this thing. So that's a very good book. Okay. Yeah, these are some of the books.
Sir, you
And,
said another book after Our Films by Satyajit Ray, something.
that's a book on Indian cinema.
No,
Okay.
before that.
नहीं, Our Films, Their Films with Satyajit Ray.
हाँ.
And नहीं, और क्या किताब, बाकी तो सब बोल दिया ना, क्या है मैंने.
Okay. Indian. Okay.
एक है, there's a specific book on Indian cinema, which is
Okay.
out of publication for more than 30 years. ठीक है.
Oh my God. Okay,
It traces the history of Indian cinema from its inception. The first Indian cinema. Tell me, what is the first Indian cinema which was made? Raja Harishchandra.
Raja Harishchandra.
हाँ भाई, दादा साहेब फाल्के.
दादा साहेब फाल्के, yeah.
ठीक है ना. फिर वहां से, so you also must know the history of Indian cinema. You must
Yes,
also
sir.
know the history of world cinema. The world
Yeah.
cinema, मैंने बोला how to read a film by James Monaco. वहाँ पे is an entire section on world cinema का history. ठीक है.
Okay.
फिर वो जो ऑक्सफोर्ड
पहले हमने कितना टाइप्स ऑफ, तो इस बार हमको करना क्वालिटेटिव क्वांटिटेटिव. और
क्या बोलो तन्वी?
कुछ नहीं सर, हिस्ट्री ऑफ इंडियन सिनेमा वाली बुक मैंने पढ़ी है, बहुत अच्छी है.
कहाँ से पढ़े, क्या, कौन सा किताब बोलो मुझे.
हिस्ट्री ऑफ इंडियन सिनेमा जो बुक के बारे में आप बोल रहे थे, मैंने वो
हाँ।
पढ़ी है, मतलब ऐसे ही देखा
Tell
था
me the name. Tell me the name of the writers. There are two writers.
रेणु सरन
हाँ, कौन? नहीं
रेणु
नहीं नहीं
सरन।
नहीं नहीं नहीं. That is not a good book.
अच्छा, मुझे अच्छी लगी थी, मतलब
ठीक है, that is very simple. You
धोखा
can
हो
read
गया।
that.
उसमें तो बस मतलब मैंने एक्सपेक्ट किया था शायद उसमें कि फिल्म मेकिंग के तरीके बताए जाएंगे,
नहीं
लेकिन
नहीं
उसमें
नहीं,
से
हिस्ट्री
फिल्म
देखो,
पर्सनालिटीज
हिस्ट्री
की
व्हेन
बायोग्राफी
यू
से
देखो,
कंपाइलेशन
नहीं नहीं
था।
नहीं, व्हेन यू आर रीडिंग अ हिस्ट्री बुक, वहां पे फिल्म मेकिंग का टेक्निक्स नहीं बताएंगे. दे विल नॉट डिस्कस फिल्म मेकिंग टेक्निक्स. व्हाट इज कंटिन्यूटी, व्हाट इज मैग्निफिकेशन, 180 क्या है, वो सब इंफॉर्मेशन तुम्हें फिल्म हिस्ट्री में नहीं मिलेंगे, है ना. फिल्म हिस्ट्री इज अबाउट फिल्म हिस्ट्री. हाँ.
या
So I'll tell you the name of the book. I don't have that book. I have a Xerox copy of that book. Okay, and I'll share the name in my next class. ठीक है. तो देखो प्लीज तुम लोग, मैं एक रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा, तुम लोग तो अटेंड कर नहीं रहे हो. यू गाइज आर देयर ऑलवेज. हाँ, तन्वी, प्रज्ञी, गीत, अनन्या, others I don't see. And a lot of students are getting, maybe they're getting scared कि भैया I don't know the answers, so why should I write and why should I participate. यार कोशिश करो, कुछ भी दिमाग में आए लिखो. गलत तो होगा ही. दैट इज व्हाई वी आर हैविंग दीस सेशंस ना, सो दैट वी कैन गाइड यू. ठीक है ना. सो डरो मत. वी आर नॉट द एग्जामिनर्स, वी आर जस्ट गाइड्स. We'll help you to follow certain patterns so that you are successful in your entrance exams. That is the main thing. But हाँ, it is difficult. It is difficult. मतलब तुम समझ में आ रहा है ना. They can ask you anything. So be
यस
prepared.
सर।
Be prepared and read extensively and intensively. एकदम just as if तुम IAS एग्जाम के लिए तैयारी कर. That is the kind of approach you should have. Okay ना? Okay. Chalo then, we'll meet again. I think not next week. You have classes with Ram, I think. Then the week after that, you have classes. Okay?
Yeah,
Most
sir.
of it. Okay,
Thank you,
chalo.
sir.
But do your
Thank you,
assignments,
sir.
please. हाँ,
Yeah,
okay,
sir.
chalo. Bye
Yeah,
bye. Yeah.
bye, sir. Thank you, sir.
गुड नाइट सर।
Good night.
गुड नाइट सर।
Good night.